Yeah, now in an effort to boost the country's crime-fighting capabilities, a cybersecurity agreement has been signed between South Africa and France. It's expected to add much-needed skills to the country's special investigating unit's capacity to fight cybercrime. The agreement was signed earlier this week by the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Ronald Lamola, and the French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Catherine Colonna. Let's discuss this now with a cyber expert from the French Embassy, Mr. Franck Cormary, the SIU's Kaizer and cybersecurity advisor, Andy Mashaile. In the past, some of you may know him as being an ambassador for Interpol in the country. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. This is quite a good news story from my perspective. Let's start with you, Mr. Cormary. Why this agreement? Why did France decide to come in at this level to help South Africa boost its anti-cybercrime efforts?
So first, I can underline that it's a SIU project. It's not a French project. And we are here, you see, to assist the SIU project to tackle, you see, cybercrime and cybersecurity matters. Because, you see, at the starting point, 7 years before, the European Union, you see, delegation present in South Africa organized a meeting involving different law enforcement agencies and different countries to be able to see what are the needs, how we can assist, and how we can make capacity building. So this story, you see, is mainly the story of European Union with the SIU. The idea is coming from the SIU, and France is there since 7 years with an expert. Myself, I'm here since 4 years, and I had a predecessor. And the story, you see, is coming from far, and is coming from needs and different discussions we had before under the umbrella of the European Union delegation in South Africa.
Okay.
And what can I explain?
Yeah, we'll talk some more, we'll unpack some more. Kganyago, let me bring you in. It's your project. You must have been pleased when it was signed. This deal was signed to enable you to boost your anti-cyber crime capabilities.
No, definitely, Braden, and we are really pleased as the SIU because we've been going through this for a very long time, and the training between us and the French was happening since 2017. But we felt that we needed to take it a step further, but also we were looking at covering all the other people in the country, in other law enforcement agencies like the NPA, the WOCs and them, but also covering SADC members and EU members. And therefore, that is why it was important that we take it to the next level. And now that this agreement is signed, it has paved way for us to then have the academy that we wanted to do, which will train everybody in the SADC, EU, and in South Africa.
Andy, let me bring you in there as an independent, you're a cybersecurity advisor. What went through your mind when you had the news about the signing of this deal?
This is a long overdue kind of development and cooperation between the two countries, my home country, SA, as well as France, from a cybersecurity posture and infrastructure, Braden. Welcomed.
Yeah, and then it's going to be focusing on skills. Mr. Cormary, are you at liberty to tell us, is this agreement going to be ongoing for quite some time? Are there timelines and part of this project with the SIU that you need to deliver? Are there milestones as well that need to be delivered?
Yes, of course. We are not leaving the SIU like that at the beginning of the signature of this agreement. We already plan different steps, you see, in this agreement. That's a story that is coming, you see, from before. And now, with the academy, we will be able to build, you see, something stronger in the benefit of all the SADC members in this area. Because cybercrime is a matter that is very international. So the international cooperation for Africa and the international cooperation between Africa and Europe is very, very, very important to be able to achieve different cases.
Yeah, and I guess in investing in cyber defense, and Mashaile, let me just, from an independent perspective, it will help South Africa standing globally including maybe convince those who've grey listed us that we're serious about stopping things like money laundering.
But then if we were number 3 as number 3 in the world from the West security point of view, generating the third country in the world with most victims of cybercrime. You must have picked up that 2 days ago, Clicks was hacked. And a sizable number of people, personal identifiable information was stolen from the database of Clicks 2 or 3 days ago. So when we sign this agreement, it means the private sector will then be able to engage with the public sector for us to be able to boost our defenses, cybersecurity defenses.
Yeah, and I remember that, was it in 2021, when the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development was hacked with at least 1,200 files that were lifted from the department. So hacking is a serious business. Kganyago, the academy that will be set up, is there thinking in the SIU who should be taking part? Is it the current staff members of the SIU? Are you going to be recruiting new, young, fresh blood?
Yeah, we are going to start also obviously at home, because we already have about 22 members who have already been trained, who will be used also as trainers. And from there, we are going to extend it to young people who are in the other law enforcement agencies, especially those that are dealing with investigations. And we will then take it to the SADC countries. When we were launching it on Monday, there were even people from universities who are saying they want to partner with us around this because they were waiting for something like this to happen, and they are ready to partner with us. And for us, it was something that says, this is long coming, and now we want to be in the forefront of making sure that we protect not only the SIU, but the country against cyber threats.
Yeah, Mr. Cormary, you mentioned SADC countries. I mean, France has got good relations with a number of them, our neighbors like Mozambique, for example. Is there appetite, do you think, in the SADC region to benefit from this anti-corruption academy that will be set up in Tshwane?
Yeah, for sure. As I said to you, you see, it's a South African project. That's a SIU project. And because of this cooperation running since a long, long time between them and the French embassy and European Union, we train, you see, trainers, and themselves, the trainers already traveled to SADC countries to be able to train other anti-corruption members to digital investigations. So this project is coming, you see, naturally. It's not because, you see, we signed an agreement that the project will be born. No, the project is coming because it's a serious project, and we are working since a long time on this project. So it's completely and fully natural now to build up a school like this one. And I wanted to highlight something, why cybercrime and cybersecurity issue in South Africa. Because South Africa is the first connected country in Africa to the internet. And I was surprised myself to see that South Africa is the first connected country in the world with mobile devices. So you have a lot of cybersecurity issues because you are a very connected country in the world. And if I compare that to Europe and to France, in Europe, you see 60% of the business of the companies, you see, are targeted by ransomwares. So more you are connected, more you are targeted. So more you must be protected. And for this reason, training, you see, and international cooperation is very important.
Does this agreement make room or provide for investment in new technologies and software development? Because the hackers are not waiting. As technology advances, they are coming up with new tricks. Mr. Cormary?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I can answer if you want. Yes. So we are providing, you see, since a long time, you see, a curriculum for the investigators or detectives to be able to have the right background, you see, and to be able to have investigation, you see, on the digital field. For this reason, from the first responder program to the malware analysis, we are providing these tools, and we are sharing, you see, the way we are working in Europe with the law enforcement, you see, in this area. And what is added value? After we can establish and we can connect and we can realize, you see, a network between the investigators, you see, in this area, to be able to work on the same, you see, with the same capabilities, with the same skills. And like that, after we hope so, and we hope a lot, that the international cooperation with Europe and Europol will be useful for Africa and for this part of Africa.
Yeah, so
because trust me, I work in Europol, and when you provide, you see, the different tools to be able to analyze, you see, the threat, so it's to prevent, and after when there is an incident, when there is a crime committed, is to be able to get clues and evidences. The analysis of these clues and evidences is useful at international cooperation to identify the threat and identify the criminals.
Yeah. So, and Mashaile, regional cooperation comes through here, through this agreement. I think that's a good thing, because you alone, if you are a highly connected country, especially with mobile devices that we are as South Africans, you need to make sure that, so to speak, your neighborhood is also safe enough.
But then you geofence the region. What the agreement talks to me, says to me, is we are geofencing digitally the region for purposes of cyber threat detection, cybercrime hunting. When you have hunting programs, as the expert will tell you, it means South Africa must be able to proactively hunt for threats. And one of those things that you're going to be doing, you're going to be employing your algorithms and your artificial intelligence, which is at the center now of a debate between risk and benefit. About 42% of CEOs that were polled says artificial intelligence is going to be a problem because it might wipe us out. So I want to believe that the SIU and the French government or the French colleagues in the cybersecurity space will also participate from an informed point of view, from a platform that is based on what we want to achieve as a country, from a cyber-smart generation point of view. The three of us, yourself, Kaizer, and the gentleman, we are BBTs, born before technology, and there's a sizable number of BBTs who must jump onto this bandwagon. If you don't have a platform, there's a challenge.
It's the four of us. Okay. Kganyago, investing in the tools is very important. I mean, I don't know what this would mean capacity-wise for you, besides upskilling and training in this academy and boosting the anti-cybercrime efforts of the SIU. How important it is that we get the right tools?
No, it is very important, Bradan, because you must also understand, as part of what we are doing as the SIU is to investigate and also do what people colloquially call following the money. Therefore, when we follow the money, we know now that we've got cyber issues, we've got cryptocurrencies where people can move money without using the normal banking system. Therefore, it also helps us as the SIU in our investigations. Therefore, these tools that they are giving to us, we will then be able to use in our own investigations themselves, in as much as we are protecting ourselves and the country against cybercrime. But it is very useful for us and the people that we are going to train. But also the fact that we will be in a position to train the people here at the SIU who will ultimately be the trainers once this deal is over. We'll have people who are capable to take this matter forward.
Yeah, and strengthening your capacity for cyber forensic investigation. You are not alone from what we've had. The door will be open for SADC countries. Is it you, SIU, is going to go and invite them, or you expect them to come knocking on your door asking for help or to join the effort?
We have already started doing that, but then, as I say, that the engagements have been going on for a while. We have already started training in those SADC countries in Botswana and Mozambique and so on. Therefore, that training has started to happen. They already knew about our intentions. As of last year, our head of the SIU was the chairperson of the SADC Committee on Anti-Corruption. And therefore, we already have those engagements with them and we'll just encourage them. I also received an SMS immediately after we launched on Monday from the head of a similar organization in Namibia who said don't leave us out of this. And already we are seeing that they are really willing to come and work with us.
Yeah, Mr. Cormary, how much is this deal? I mean, how the investment that you are making, or the contribution? I don't know what's the right word to use.
About this, I prefer to speak about technical matters. I don't want to move to budget matters. Sorry for that.
No. And I understand.
It's a little bit confidential.
I understand. I understand. If it's confidential, no problem. So this is a long-term agreement? Just remind me again, Mr. Cormary?
Yeah, it's for 3 years. Yeah, it's for 3 years.
And is it likely it might be extended? How are you going to measure its success?
Yes. There is a review you see each year on the result and on the objectives, on the different goals that are achieved. And every year you see there is a review by the committee belonging to the French embassy and belonging to the SIU to plan the year in future and to review what was achieved already. So it can be extended, of course, if needed. So as I said to you, it's very important to understand that it's a SIU project, and us, we are just assisting and launching the project, and we will be there when the SIU will benefit, you see, of our cooperation. We will be there. But I hope that your country will be able to handle, you see, the entire project and will be able to run the project in the benefit of Africa.
What do you think, Kganyago?
Yeah, it was difficult for me to hear Braden, what he is saying.
Okay, he's making the point that he hopes this project, which is the SIU's project, will also benefit the rest of the continent, Africa.
No, definitely. We will definitely do that. You will know that we have got to work together as law enforcement agencies, especially anti-corruption agencies. And as we speak now, our head of the SIU is a deputy president of the International Association of Anti-Corruption Agencies. Therefore, we have already, when we went to Hong Kong in April, we have already indicated to them that side to say, we are doing this, and therefore, if they are going to partner with us, they will want to do so, but we'll make sure that it goes to the whole of Africa, and if all goes well, we will introduce it to the other parts of the world.
Yeah. Where have there been the biggest gaps in Mashaile, in our cyber security investigations?
Knowledge of cyber security, smartness in cyber security, not being savvy, not understanding the basics of weaknesses like your phishing and your smishing, your SMSing that you have won so much, and people clicking because of poverty and many of those things. Most importantly, greed, which becomes a social engineering weakness. And ourselves from the International Cyber Security and Investigations Committee, you know, I mean the executive of the international community, we support this kind of venture with the expertise that I have at my fingertips. It's very, very much important that we join with my namesake, Ndimu TV, and all others who are interested in securing the defenses and the cyber defenses of our country and of our people. Remember, we lose 2 billion per annum to cyber criminals based on getting online and not understanding what you're doing. Ultimately, finding your details on the deep web and dark web.
Yeah, I know you haven't seen the full agreement yourself, but just listening to Mr. Cormary and Kganyago, how would you want us to measure, or how would you measure the success of this endeavor after 3 years?
Braden, a year-on-year kind of assessment target I would set for the program. One, the reduction from your Cybercrime metrics. The reduction of the amount of money that we lose per annum is very important, number one. Number two, the companies that gets hacked and are investigated, amongst others, that crime is investigated by SIU. The dropping of those cases will suggest that the program obviously is successful. And also from the targets set, your APP set by the SIU on these targets, law enforcement agencies and other private institutions like mine, coming together, determining if and when a program has been put in place, the objectives and the goals, have they been achieved, at what speed, at what cost?
Yeah, what will success look like, Mr. Cormary, for you, from a French perspective, after 3 years? Hello, Mr. Cormary, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, I can hear you. So how can I measure that? So in the perspective of training, you see, it's very important to achieve and to measure how many trainees we will be able to train. And in the perspective of cybersecurity and cybercrime, it will be for us, I think, to measure the implementation in South Africa of the Cyber Bill Act, you see. Is it possible for people, you see, to complain on cybercrime in South Africa, just to be able to measure, you see, how many cybercrime are present in your country, and after to be able to see if the law enforcement involved in cybercrime are able to find, you see, the different suspects, identify them, identify the threats. And like that, we will launch a process to be able to reduce the cybercrime and to be able to be secure with cybersecurity matters.
And for you, Ntate Kganyago, for the SIU, 3 years down the line, what does success look like, in addition to what we've heard?
No, success for us, one, we should be having enough trainers who will continue the work after the 3-year period. 2, it is when we are able to follow up all kinds of monies that are circulating within the cyberspace. And thirdly, it is when we are able to say that we have reduced the number of cyber crimes that we are seeing in this country.
So the reduction of the crime is going to be important. Are you secretly wishing, I don't know if you are, that this agreement will assist to convince those who've grey-listed South Africa to look at our country differently as you're beginning to improve and boost the fight against cybercrime, which some of it can be expressed by money laundering?
No, definitely. We really wish that we are part of a committee that is engaging with FATF, and we are going to be presenting some of the work that we are doing so that they see what we do, and that might go a long way in addressing this issue of grey listing. And we are really confident that they will see it in that light also, because this country doesn't need to be grey listed at this time.
Thank you very much. Kaizer Kganyago from the SIU and Mr. Franck Cormary. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup from the French Embassy, Cyberexpert there, and Cyber Security Advisor in the Mashaile. Thank you, Ntate Mashaile. Thank you, gentlemen, for helping us to unpack and share this good story, because it is necessary. It's a hard work, but it has to be done. And we'll see what happens in 3 years' time. We'll be knocking on the door of the SIU to find out how it's all been going. Well, still